Hello friends, Coach Bob with you, and today we are going to be talking about the CanAm F3. And if there was ever a section that anyone was going to get a little confused, this is the one. Because the Riker, the line is pretty clear and concise as to what it is, and likewise I believe the RT is as well, because the RT you only have two models. You have the RT and the RT Limited, and in the Riker you have the 600, the 900, and the 900 ACE. The F3, it's a little more complex than that. Not a great deal more complex, but bear with me as we walk through the F3 line and talk a little bit about what it is, and then we're going to talk about what's new for 21. So the base F3. What is the base F3? What does it get you? Well, first off, the base F3 is $15,999 manufacturer's suggested retail price. It has 96 foot-pounds of torque, but only 105 horsepower. All of the other models are going to have 115 horsepower, and they're all going to have the same torque, 96 foot-pounds of torque. So all of them will have 96 foot-pounds of torque, but the base F3 only has 105 horsepower. All of the others have 115 horsepower. The base F3 also has a smaller display. It is a 4.5-inch display. So doesn't have a lot of the niceties of the F3s as you move up through the line. So let's talk about the F3S. That's next up. The F3S is more the sport model, we'll call it. Again, the F3S has 115 horsepower, 96 foot-pounds of torque, and there's the F3S and the F3S Special. The Special is special, and we'll talk about why it's special when we review that model in particularly. But the F3S is $18,999, and the F3S Special is $19,999. The S has a 7.6-inch digital display, and the Special has a 7.8-inch digital display. Everything we've spoken of up to this point is more in line with, we'll say, a sporty bike, more muscular, more cruising, that sort of thing, something fun in town. The S and the S Special both have sport mode, which means you can play on it a little more. And I think that's pretty cool. If I were to buy one just for me, wasn't taking Coach Vic into consideration and was not looking at traveling, I would say that the S Special would be the one that I would buy. Next up is the F3T. The F3T is like the Spyder RT base. It looks a lot like the Spyder RT base. It has the saddlebags on the side, that sort of thing, and it starts moving up in weight. The thing weighs 948 pounds, so we're moving into the behemoth territory of the RT. The F3 Limited is $24,999, and it is almost identical in nature, not in geometry, but in nature to the RT Limited. You have the top bag, you have the saddlebags, you have the BRP Connect app, you've got cruise control, you've got heated grips, you've got all of the niceties of touring. Now the F3T has some of those features. I'm not going to go down an exhaustive list. This is to give you a general idea of how the F3 line is set up. You have the F3, the F3S, the F3S Special, the F3T, and the F3 Limited. So there are 5 F3s. They all have the 1330 Rotax, but the base model has 10 less horsepower. So there you have it. There's the lineup for the F3s. So let's talk about what's new for 2021, and let's talk about some colors and that sort of stuff. The base F3 comes in every color you want as long as it's black, because that's the only color the F3 base model comes in. The Spyder F3S comes in what they call monolith black satin, and the Spyder F3 Special Series comes in what they call gravity gray. Now the gravity gray looks really awesome, and that is because the frame is painted orange, and that pops. It gives you a little bit of contrast. The wheels on the F3S and the wheels on the F3S Special Edition are the same shape, but they look a little different. They have a different finish on them. The F3S wheels are black. The F3S Special wheels are black and a kind of a silver stainless finish. Looks really nice. One of the things about the F3 that is vastly different than the RTs is that the F3 has a movable footboard that runs up and down the frame rail. This makes it a little more user-friendly for us taller riders and a little better for you who lack in height as well, because you can make things a little more close to you. The deal breaker for me while looking at the F3 versus the RT was the windshield height. I didn't want to buy something and immediately have to start putting things on there to make it better for me personally as we toured. I wanted something that was more set up for touring for me right out of the box, and the RT certainly met my need. But the F3 is absolutely capable of touring even with the windshield it has, but at my height I would want a little taller windshield. That said, the F3S doesn't have a windshield. So the F3S Special has halogen headlamps, of course, front fenders with integrated LEDs, black perforated with seat with orange stitching, electronic cruise control, a gauge spoiler. Now this looks pretty cool. The gauge spoiler is really neat looking, and it's a little injected plastic piece that your gauges go. It really does look nice. And they have a passenger seat that comes with the Special, and it has the cowl also. So the Special is pretty special. The F3T has the same display as the F3 Special. It has the large 7.8 inch display. It has navigation and the BRP app stuff. Now for those of us who have used the BRP app, we're not really big fans of it. We won't talk about that right now, but come on BRP, you can do better. But the F3T, which stands for touring, all right, halogen headlights, electronic cruise control, sport windshield, we're getting into windshield territory, and it's also calibrated for towing a Can-Am trailer. Now you're getting into the ability to tour. Has a glove box with a USB port, integrated side luggage, it does not have the top bag, and it has the audio control, but it does have the audio control keypad on the gas tank. Last but not least, the F3 Limited, which comes in a variety of colors. I'll let you look all that up. The F3 Limited, they have the F3 Limited and the F3 Limited Dark. They look like an RT without the plastic cowling on the side. You can see the engine, you can see the frame, you can move your footboards, and I really do like that look. Honestly, I know I have an RT. I like that look better than the RT. It's more motorcycle-y looking to me, and I like that. So there you have the F3 line. So you have the F3 base, the F3S, the F3S Special, the F3T, and the F3 Limited. Hopefully that is clear to you. You can go to the BRP webpage and they have a breakdown of all of those. You can even do some side-by-side comparisons and look at the models if you are confused at all. I would highly suggest that when you do go out and you go to a trike fest or something like that, look at these things, talk to owners about what they're riding, and really get a good idea of what the F3 is. Now the F3, as described by Can-Am, is relaxed cruiser ergonomics, because you can move those footboards back and forward and back. They call it bold muscular styling. The performance is enhanced due to power to weight ratio over the RT, and the fact that the Special and the S have the sport mode. Very cool. Of course, no Can-Am is complete without mentioning convenience and comfort. They are comfortable. All of them are. So here are a few things that are on the F3S that are available to purchase for the other F3s. The gauge spoiler, the Moto seat cowl that gives you one up riding, an additional 5 liters of storage where that passenger seat would be. They have some accessory fog style lights that come on the Special model that you can put on your F3. And one thing that I really like about the F3 is the driver backrest. The way it folds down is really nice. I wish the backrest that I had would do that. The amount of room that it gives you as it folds down is absolutely superlative, and I really do like it. So what type of person is the F3 good for? I would say anyone that wants a three-wheeler that is looking for the ability to ride something larger than a Ryker, and for guys like me that are 6'2", 200 pounds, 200 plus at times, that's the bike you want. It's going to give you a little more room. The foot position on my RT is fine, but I would love to have the flexibility that the F3 offers. Coach Vic, likewise, going in the other direction, I think would benefit way more from a Ryker because she is much smaller. 5'2", short inseam. Overall looks, I'm going to say, in my opinion, the F3 is the finest looking machine in the CanAm line. The overall design, whether you're looking at the sport models or you're looking at something more touring oriented, I think the smaller windshield, even though it's not my cup of tea, it looks better. It just looks cool. The front of the F3 looks very aggressive. The Special also has a more aggressive looking grille on it. The front of the F3 looks great, and it has for years. I don't think you can go wrong buying an F3. So whether you're starting out at the base model for $15,900 or buying the most expensive one for $24,900, I don't think you can go wrong. The F3 is a good looking machine and it's a lot of fun to ride. So the F3 accessory line, I mentioned a few things that are on the F3 Special. If there are any accessories that are new apart from those, I am unaware of them. There are plenty of aftermarket parts through Lamonster, through CanAm Spyder Accessories, through Sling Mods, through Spider Pops, all of these places. There is a ton of stuff for the F3. In fact, I would say the F3, when it comes between the F3 and the RT, the F3 is much more easily modified and much easier to work on because you're not pulling those cowls off the side every time you do something. So I think that customizing and making it yours, I think the F3 it's a cut above the RT. So recently I was asked by a subscriber, Coach Bob, are you an insider? And you know, I took that as really, I know some people would be offended by that question. I was flattered because what he's saying is you seem to be in touch with the people at BRP and you seem to kind of have your finger on the pulse of what's going on with CanAm. So I have a confession to make. I'm not an insider. However, I've been allowed to look inside. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Here recently, CanAm did a online unveiling of their new products. I received an email inviting me to sit in on that. It was an industry insider thing, and I got to sit in. Now, I didn't say anything. I didn't have an active role in it, but I got to participate. I got to watch it, observe it, and I got to listen to what the people at BRP are saying. So to that extent, they've allowed me to see inside. But am I an insider? Is BRP giving me things and that sort of stuff? No. I like CanAm. I believe in the product. And I've gotten a lot of emails and a lot of things from consumers who are very upset when they have purchased things and CanAm was very slow to repair those things. And to that, all I can say is God bless you, brothers and sisters. I hope that CanAm BRP steps in there and repairs your product. BRP, if you're watching this, understand there are disgruntled people out there who feel that you don't have their back. And as a company, you got to make that right. And as consumers, as fellow consumers, it's our responsibility to always ask more from the manufacturers that we love. That said, every single person that complained about the way things were handled or the way they were treated. In the end, when everything was resolved, they were all pleased with their machine. So that's good news. So the Spyder itself is fun to ride, it's easy to ride, and it's a great machine. And I don't think you can go wrong with it. And for bang for the buck, I know you can't go wrong with it. If you think you might be going wrong with it, price a Tri-Glide. Then you'll see what I'm talking about. I saw a Tri-Glide recently. I could buy 2 F3s for that. So right now what I want to do is also, I want to take an opportunity to ask you to like this video, give it the old thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, turn on your notification bells, all that good stuff, so that you're kept informed of all of the CanAm things. Also, I've got something else that I've been doing lately, and you may have noticed if you're following me on Coach Bob 3 on Facebook or Coach Bob 3 on Instagram, I have been going out with Mr. Bottoms, Brother Theodore, a great motorcycle racer rider, and this past weekend I got to go out with him and a young lady named Nicole who hails from Wales. That rhymed. Look at that. I'm a poet. Didn't know it. I got 2 feet. They're long fellas. Anyway, Nicole and Ted, both wonderful riders, very kind to me. And I'm going to tell you, they made me look like Mr. Magoo. They did. Every time, man. But I learned a lot. I am learning. I'm looking at the possibility, and I'll have an unveiling if I do, of picking up a new machine in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. But it's going to be something that's more, not radical sport, but we'll just say more sport riding specific. Don't think that is going to curtail my passion or fire for Can-Ams, because it is not. They're different machines with different functions, and I love them all. You know that. You know I'm a motorcycle guy through and through. I love them. 2 wheels, 3 wheels. Heck, when I was a kid, I rode unicycles, even 1 wheel. Well, the F3 line, there you have it. Is it confusing? Maybe a little bit. Allow yourself to go to the BRP webpage, look it up, let it sink in. Go to a dealer. See if you can't identify, just from looking at the model, what it is, and then look at the tag. Allow yourself to gradually get familiar with the F3 line, because it can seem a little overwhelming at first. You know, I got a phone call earlier this week with someone who was a little confused about the CanAm line. And it can be very, very confusing. I remember when I was looking, I was seeing SE5s, and this one has a semi-standard transmission, semi-automatic. This one has a clutch, this one doesn't. But understand that the F3s and the RTs are all semi-automatic transmission, and that just means you punch a button to shift up, it will downshift on its own, and the Riker is fully automatic, twist and go. That's it. So at least Can-Am has made that more simple for us to understand, and I'm grateful for that. Well, I hope you got something out of this today, and I hope you are enjoying your week. I know things may seem crazy sometimes, but guess what? It's gonna be okay. So until next time, I want you to do me a favor. Go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself. And remember, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and we'll talk to you real soon.